I'm getting Twitter ads. Yay! So you want a t-shirt. Yeah. Did you follow me the other day?
No. I think I did. You know really that one? Did you explore your,
Okay, so okay, I'll remember that.
I didn't yet. Once we activated
There's a plug over there. You want to do that one to the edge and you can plug in?
Did you just walk in? Do you need some stickers?
Oh. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
There's a tiny URL
There it is.
and a QR code.
Thank you.
Isn't this QR code cool? I found this at QR Code Monkey for free. And you can add your own image to it and change the colors. I was so excited when I found it.
QR code.
QR Code Monkey. It's not Code Monkey, and it's not connected to Code Monkey. It's QR Code Monkey. All right, if you're coming in just now, what I have offered is if you follow me on Twitter, I will randomly pick someone to win a size large Ozobot t-shirt, which is the size this one is. And I'll just DM you, and you can send me your address, and then I'll send it to you. It is sitting on my desk back at where I work, IU13. I just got my assistant to send me a picture of it. It's still in the plastic, okay? I wanted to bring it here, but didn't show up until after I left. All right. No, it's still red. I think a blue is when it starts, so I might need to wait a minute or two because my supervisor wants to use this session as my PPR. So I'm gonna give it a minute or two. So. If you haven't yet, that's the QR code to this. I think it'll ask you to make a copy.
Yes.
Okay, or there's a tiny URL. They're both the same.
Thank you.
God bless you. Woo. For what are you looking for? The tiny URL? You just put tiny URL and then I put P. Bless you. You want to go for 3?
I'd probably be more than that.
I mean, usually
No, I
they
don't know
come
what
in
it is.
threes. For me,
it's
they
usually
do.
5s. I'll just warn you now. I'm blessed. I am. I'm at peace. Man. I feel very blessed.
See, my whole strategy is because I want to get up to 500 followers before P&C is over. That was my goal.
Well, I'll follow you, but I don't need a t-shirt because I already have it on my t-shirt.
All right. Well, if
My
I
friend
pick
got me.
you and you say that to me, I will.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I will.
well, it didn't turn blue yet, but I want to get started. Hello, my name is Judy Craig. I work for IU13. That's in Lancaster. So I came here on a bus with a bunch of my buddies. So I had to pack everything real, just whatever I could get. And I did ask for a room with tables because we're actually going to be playing with bots. But as you see, we don't have tables. So maybe the chair beside you would be your table. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Okay? Here's what we're going to do. Find out a little bit about Ozobots, and then learn about the 2 different ways to code, and then I'll show you where some great lessons are. Okay, so these are the questions I'm going to be answering. Just go ahead and take a quick look at those. But if you have another question, what you can do is go to menti.com. And put in that code. Oh, I have two questions. The first one is, what's your experience with Ozobots, if you wanna do that, and then the second one is, oh, why did you choose this math session? Okay, I pulled up the wrong one. But anyway, if you wanna go to menti.com, you don't have to, put in that, and then, in the second one, you can ask me any other questions you want me to go over, and I'll try to get them covered, in our time today. Okay, can I give you another minute to do that? Oh, good, so we have people who have color coded. One person so far is block coded. Maybe it'd be easier to do with a show of hands. So, anybody color code with Ozobots, okay? Use Ozoblockly, okay? Never done any coding with Ozobots. Okay, all right, good. Thank you. All right, so the next one would be, instead of why did you choose this session, because it's not on math, this is one of my other mentees, I'm sorry, I pulled up the wrong one. Do you have any other questions that I didn't have listed in that first list of things? Because that's everything I'm going to go over, but do you have anything else you want to know? All right, well, feel free to raise your hand and just ask questions throughout. Can you guys hear me in the back if I'm not standing at the mic? Yeah, I didn't think. Kind of have a big mouth. All right, so my job is to support all the non-public schools in Lancaster and Lebanon counties. So I have 40 schools, and I'm like their STEM consultant. So what I do is I've been pushing the past year to get all these non-public school kids coding. So I go out and I do presentations where I either teach them color or I teach them block. Sometimes I do a 2-hour session and do both. And then I say to their teachers, hey, if you want to use my Ozobots, I'll bring them back. You find a lesson in the portal that I'm going to show you, and you do the lesson. I'll come back and support the Ozobot part of it. So that's pretty much what my job is right now. Well, other than coaching 8 teachers at 5 different schools, and well, I could go on, but you guys all know you have a million things in your job too. Okay, so the reason why I told you all that is because this is what I always start with my students. I grabbed this, I think, from Brandon Lutz. It's not if the technology will fail, it's when, and every time I do a presentation, there's something that gets screwed up. Another thing I emphasize, even with, I did pre-K3 the other day. Oh my gosh, this one kid, I'm talking for 5 minutes, he raises his hand, he's like, when are we getting to the activity? I was like, okay, all right. So anyway, I even did that with them. I said, fail forward. This is a big part of what I am trying to do. Get them to understand they have to just keep trying. So I get them all on board and I'm like, okay, will you agree to fail forward during this lesson? Like, you're going to get really frustrated and you're going to want to stand up and run out of the room screaming and crying because you won't be able to do something. Will you not do that? And they're like, yeah. And later, when one of them feels like that, I say, remember, we're failing forward. All right, now, the reason I put this presentation together was because I'm working on my ISTE certification, and number 5 in the ISTE standards is computational thinker. And I've been going to, I'm a mather, okay, I've taught algebra for years. I have been going to these math sessions and at Patan, our training center, and they're like trying to get me to understand what computational thinking is, and I couldn't get it. And when I was in my ISTE training, I thought, oh my gosh, computational thinking is exactly what you do when you play with Ozobots, okay? So, these are the 4 parts of computational thinking. I am not gonna read them to you. All I'm gonna say is look at these 4 yellows, okay? Every one of those things is something that you do when you are playing with an Ozobot. When we're done with the color coding part, I'll hopefully remember to pop this screen back up with addition of how you use those with an Ozobot. So this is my real big push now, and this is how I convince principals to get into their buildings to teach their teachers this stuff, because they really think we're just playing with toys. Here's more stuff on computational thinking if you don't know a lot about it and you want to learn, but I'm not going to show you that right now. So what is an Ozobot? There are two different types of Ozobots. There is an Ozobot Bit and an Ozobot Eva. I brought both. Okay. Oops. This is the Bit. It has a bumper, and in the back it has the little plug-in. That's how I help the kids know which way is the front and the back. These are out of production. I was bummed to find this out at ISTE this past summer, but you can still get them cheap on Amazon. They used to cost like $55, $60. You can probably get them for $30 or $40 right now. You can't get them from Ozobot. I use these the most because they are perfect for teaching basic coding. So if you have these or can get these, I would go with a Bit. They have a light on top. They have sensors at the bottom. That's how they read. They've got some little wheels here. And there's a link to purchasing them on Amazon. Then there's an Evo. An Evo's a little bit bigger. It makes some sounds. You can turn the sounds off if you want. They are Bluetooth compatible. Ozobot is pushing these now because they're more expensive, but they're Bluetooth compatible, and they've just created this Ozobot classroom, which they have to be Bluetooth connected, and that's the whole reason why they are getting rid of the Bits and want the Evos, which is very disappointing, but what are you gonna do? There are two ways to code, color coding and block coding. I do color coding from pre-K up through 12. I do block coding. Usually I start possibly the end of second grade, maybe usually start with third graders. All right, here's the classroom. That's all I know about it. Okay, so I would never ever show this video to kids because it's just way too much. Instead, I have created several different Google slide decks that if you're interested in them, I'll share them with you, of how to teach color coding to little tiny kids, how to do to middle grades, how to do to middle school and high school kids, depending on their age, with a different activity, and all the activities I found online, usually at Ozobot or maybe an email that they have sent me. Okay, but for adults, this is so easy to learn how to color code by simply just watching this 2-minute video. Okay, so I'm gonna turn that on. There's some sound, but it's just like silly music. So it doesn't matter if we can hear it or not. But you take a look at this for 2 minutes and then we'll talk. So. Okay, do you feel like you kind of have an idea of how to do that? Okay. I've calibrated all of them ahead of time, so we don't have to do that. But I just want to show you some of the basic things I do with kids. Like for pre-K through 2nd grade, I teach them how to draw lines first because they don't understand like how to hold a marker to make it the right thickness. So I would give them this activity, which is called the light show, that I got right off the portal, which I'll share with you. And then they just fill in different colors. Oh, didn't mention this to people who don't know. Ozobot markers. Ozobots can see 4 different colors: black, red, green, and blue. They will follow a black line from here out to the ballroom if it's not, there's no stop in the black line. If they roll over one of the other colors, they'll light up that color. And preschoolers and kindergartners think that's amazing, and that's an entire lesson. I literally spend an hour doing that with them, okay? You know, just try, everybody get a green one. Okay, put the cap back on, put your hand on your head, you know, the whole thing. Okay, then this is 4. I usually cut this into 4, and I teach them how to do 1 set of color codes. Now, the color codes come in 2 different varieties. They come for pre-readers and for readers. Pre-readers have pictures on them, like if they want them to go really slow, it's a snail, and if they want them to go really fast, it's a rocket ship, okay? And turning different directions, it shows you that. And if you want to do something cool, like make it spin really fast, a tornado, there's a picture of a tornado. Now, older kids can just read all of that, and they add some more codes to it. So, usually with really little kids, I give them all the color codes at their tables. Where did I just put there? And then I walk them through how to do some coding by putting the 3 different colors in here. There's opportunities to talk about patterns and reversible patterns. There's all kinds of math stuff you can do with them. I've also done an activity. I found this one. There's lots of great stuff on Teacher Pay Teachers, and some of it you can actually get for free. Like I had the teacher read The Gingerbread Man, and then I taught them 2 codes fast and what I called super fast. And this was 3-year-olds that we did this with, and then we just put some Christmas stickers on because it was Christmas time. And I usually make like a great big code for them. And let's see. Oh, this is a great one. This is my introductory how to color code with usually, I've done it with K. It's K to about 2nd or maybe even 3rd, and this is the speed test. This is online also, where I teach them the difference between the super fast code and the super slow code, and how they're reversible, and they do that, and then I show them the other 4 speed codes. So that's an entire lesson. Right now what I'm doing for my introductory lesson for older kids is this thing that I found in an email, but you can just literally Google this, Ozobots scavenger hunt, where I have them say, okay, you want to get from the start to the finish, whichever one of these finish lines you want to use as fast as you can, but then I explained to them about intersections, and I think you saw a little bit on the video about an intersection. When an Ozobot gets to an intersection, it's going to randomly choose a way to go. So prior to the intersection, it's going to need to know which direction you want it to go. So instead of, I say you got to do it as fast as you can, so they just want to put in all these fast codes, but then it'll randomly turn at intersections. So they have to start thinking. Here's where the computational thinking part comes in. Where am I going to put which code and why to make this work? And then I reward them by posting any win, like the fastest kid in the class, up on Twitter. So if you go back and follow some of my Twitter stuff, you'll see my kids that do that. Now, is there anybody who would like to color code? I brought along about 12 marker sets, but with me I have 36 bots that you have to get back or my supervisor will kill me. okay? But is there anybody who wants to practice doing color coding? Then come on up.
I have a question.
Oh, okay, nobody wants to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay, well, come on up and grab one of each of these things here. You decide, and I'll answer your question in a minute. You can use either color code, grab some markers, a calibration dot, white paper, and then I have these things that I've affectionately called boo-boo sheets. You'll recognize them. They are envelope labels. And what you can do is if you make a mistake on your, grab one of these and one of these. If you make a mistake on your paper, instead of crimpling up and throwing it away, you can tear this to the size of your mistake and put it right down on, and Ozobot will roll over 4 of these. Okay? So if you want some of those, you might have to share that, but go ahead. Oh, you need a bot? Here. Oh, they're so much slower than kids. Come on! Grab your stuff! Stop being so Oh, you should do it. I've had mine for 2 years, and they're still rolling. Well, that's good. Please, guys, remember to give these back to me. Yeah. You're fine. No. Do not laminate something. They will not run into lamination. They don't like it. They might one time, but yeah, it's not good. No, I'll get to that. Okay? You don't have to use those markers. Bots? Bots?
Sure, I'll try it. I just have some questions.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you a whole bunch of answers soon. Okay?
When you spoke with them,
Questions too?
yeah, just because the bits are working for now. What's gonna happen? Are they going to phase out?
They said they will support bits until,
They disappear?
yes, because I've asked.
And you said they work for a good 2 years.
Well, mine have worked already for 2 years, and they're not slowing down. You need something? Okay, come on over and grab what you want. All right, I'm giving most of you guys bits because that's really what I like to use.
Okay, so here's my question. I understand the theory a little, but my question is, okay, so besides lighting up, do the colors make the bit do other things?
Yes.
Besides just light up?
Yes, we're gonna get there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Then I'm assuming are there different combinations of
Yes.
the colors?
Yes, grab one of those, it'll tell you.
Oh, okay. So I have what I have.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you about
All
that
right,
too.
good.
All right, I just got a ton of great questions and I'm gonna answer all of them. Yeah, yep. No. Nope. All right, let me answer all the questions I just got. First one, you can use Ozobot markers. You can use plain old regular Crayola markers. And that's awesome. They work great, okay? All of my replacement markers are Crayola markers, okay? Do not ever use a dry erase marker because they leave little crumbs and they'll get jammed up in their wheels. Don't use crayons. Don't use colored pencil, okay? Yeah.
You can use Sharpies. Okay.
Yes, you can use Sharpies, but you
they're
know,
permanent.
yeah, they're permanent.
Whereas this is washable.
Right. Okay.
And it depends on what it does.
There is a whole method to calibrating them. Now, know that yours has already been calibrated, okay? Because I calibrated all of them before I brought them here today. But let me tell you the calibration. I'm going to show it to you real quick because I had these for 3 months, couldn't get them to do anything I wanted them to do, threw them in a file drawer, and I was like, I'm not dealing with these. Then I went to a summer STEM camp, and I went up to the guy, I'm like, please teach me how to do this. So he did. This is how you calibrate, okay? They have to be on a black dot for color coding. For block coding, it's a white dot, but we'll get to that, okay? So you put them on here right in the center, okay? And you have to hold the button. Now, when I teach kids this, I make every one of them put their hands in their lap so they don't do it beforehand, okay? You'll push the button on the side, which is hard to find, but they'll find it. It will light up blue, because blue is its favorite color. Blue, blue, white. As soon as it blinks white, you pull your hand away. And then you let it do whatever it's going to do. Sometimes it's going to behave, sometimes it's not. If it's behaving, it will think, it will move forward, it will light up green, and then it will go to sleep. Do you see how many times I've said that? It just comes natural to me now. Okay? So, I'm going to put it in the center, because if I put it on the outside, it's going to think it's a black line. It's just going to roll and roll and roll and waste your battery. You charge them for 45 minutes. They work for 90 minutes of playtime. Kids will code, run them for 30 seconds. Code, run them for another 30 seconds. So I will do 4 lessons in the morning, charge them at lunch, and use them in the afternoon.
How long
Okay?
did you say the charge again?
45 minutes.
45 minutes, run for 90.
Yes. They do not overcharge them. Okay? You can overcharge spheres. You cannot overcharge Ozobots. That will mess them up. Okay. So, I'm going to hold it. Blue, blue, white. Of course, I'm showing you, so it's not working. Blue, blue, white. Let go. Move forward. Blinks blue, then blinks green, then goes to sleep. It's now calibrated. That means it's kind of cleared out the stuff the last kid did, and it's ready to go. You only have to calibrate once a day. If your Ozobot starts acting stupid, like the rotten little kid in your class, you just do it again. Okay? So that's the calibration part.
Can I ask one question about
Yeah.
that? When you say don't overcharge them, what would that be? Leave them
Overnight.
Overnight, that's bad? Okay.
That's bad.
For the spheres?
No.
No, for the Ozobot. Yeah.
So if you're doing multiple groups and you do the calibration, you only really do the calibration with the first group, you're not doing the rest of the groups with
Every day?
Yeah.
Look, I teach all kids how to calibrate. So,
I was gonna say,
so
so
every
the
lesson I
calibrate
redo
is
it,
one time?
and there's,
Okay.
you can't over calibrate.
Okay, but like you could go like once a day.
Yes.
That would be enough.
Yes.
But okay.
Yep.
So for station work, okay.
So like the lighting in the room,
No
does
effect
that
on any of it.
affect the calibration?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Because the sensors are.
Nope, nope. Okay, these are the color codes. All right, let me see what time I have because I have a lot to get through. Okay. Okay, I don't know what I just did. You have those, or you have available to get them. There's the speed codes, the direction codes, timers, which I rarely use, cool moves the kids love. I never use these counters. Every once in a while I use the win or exit. As you play with them, you will start to understand how to use them, but you gotta play with them. All right. Ooh, I promised you we would talk about computational thinking. Okay, decomposition. What code do I place in each code box? Or which block do I use? Remember this? That's computational thinking, that's decomposition. Pattern recognition. You know, the nitro boost, the snail dose, they're opposite of each other. Abstraction, ignoring a path that will not lead you to the right destination. And debugging. Okay, so that's how it all fits in if you're trying to sell this to your administrator. Okay? I'm going to walk you through how to use Ozoblockly, but before I do that, there were other questions that you just came up and said, and I was like, I'll answer that. What else was it? What did I miss? Yes.
Okay, so I know that those different patterns of colors cause it to do different things.
Yes.
What if a student doesn't, can you create your
No.
own? You have to use
Yes.
a preset color.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yes.
That thing you just showed us with the squares on it, you could like blow that up then and make a large like playground area with those squares? You could do that?
No.
No.
No, the Ozobots only follow those thin lines.
But I mean, if you blew up this, like this
For a lot of people to
square
see,
and
as a
make
reference.
play that.
That would be way too big. But the lines would just blow up really big. They have to be that width. I don't know, maybe we're not on the same wavelength. If not, maybe we can talk after. Yeah.
I was gonna say, somebody suggested, maybe you already said this, I apologize if you did. We use graph paper, I did it with sixth graders. And we used graph papers, because when we just did plain paper, their lines were like
They're
all
all
over the
different
place.
thicknesses and then
Different
it doesn't
thicknesses.
go.
Okay, tell you two things about graph paper. One, I thought it was fantastic at first because those little blocks on the regular graph paper are exactly the size of a code color. But what it might do is it might limit people to only doing straight lines.
So it's a good
That's the
start.
only thing. Yeah, it is a good start.
Well,
Absolutely.
Do your curve, like do your corners, your inner, do they need to be curved? If it's all, if
You can curve, they can be sharp,
square.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
As long
Yep.
as it's straight in the middle.
Okay, so now what I want to do is move on to Ozobots, and then I want to show you some apps. So you guys can continue to play and ask me questions about color coding. Is there anyone who wants me to walk them through how to do Ozobots with block coding? Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to jump out of my presentation, and I'm going to go to Ozobots. All right? Now, how do you get to this? I always break it down by telling kids, we go to Ozo, O-Z-O, block, like block coding. They threw an L-Y in, I don't know, an adverb, I don't know. And then .com. So that's where we go to start. And when I'm teaching kids Ozobots for the first time, I want them to see that it's very similar to Scratch or code.org, stuff they've already done. So, and I also want them to see that they can play with a virtual Ozobot at home. So what I do is, after I get them on this site, then I go up here to that little, that little tiny green where it says games. Do you see that? If you're wanting to learn Ozobots, you should be here with me. Okay, I click on that, and it takes me to games. Okay, I tell the kids you got to scroll down a little bit, get to Shape Tracer. Now there's this thing called Ozotown, and it says it's coming soon, but it's been saying it's coming soon for 2 years, so I don't think it's ever coming. Okay, so we go to Shape Tracer, all right? And this is how I do it. I have them go in here, and of course, are you sure you want to play this? Yes, you got to click play now. Again, I went to ozobots.com, up in the corner where it says games. And this pops up. Usually this is empty. Let me get rid of that. You'll notice there's a virtual Ozobot here, so they can play this at home. It's web-based. They don't need an app. All they need is internet access. So there's their Ozobot. If they click on that goal, it'll tell them what to do, but they won't even need that because they already get it, because they aren't boomers and Gen Xers like us, right? Okay, so they already know that, and they know that if you click here or here, you're going to get some blocks. They know that this is the trash can, and they know that this means to run it, okay? So I usually walk them through the very first one, and I said, okay, so what do we have to do first? It says, basically, you gotta move this across here, and it's gotta light up that color, all right? So I'm like, all right, what do I do? Some kid will say, you gotta move it, all right? Go to the movement blocks. The only option they have is one. We'll pull it out. They know how to do this, okay? They don't know how many steps. They always guess 5 or 7, but eventually they'll get to understanding that each one of these is 1 step, so it's 10, okay? But I never tell them that. I make them figure that out. And I'm like, we can go whatever speed you want because there's no comment in the goal about how fast to go, so they like to go super fast. And then we need it to light up green, okay? So we drag it out here. How do we turn that? They know this already. Click it to green. And then they try to put it together, and I'm like, wait a second. Do you think that's gonna work? Put it together. Click run. Oh no, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because they want the color first. So this is great in debugging for them to understand that. So they just switch that up, reset it, run it again, and look what happens when they do it right. Yeah, they get music, they get a crown, they're all excited, okay? So then they have 10 more that they can play with. Look how difficult 8 is, okay? I usually give them 5 or 10 minutes and say, just play. This is how I start my Ozobots, teach you how to block code lessons, okay? And I let them play with this. There's a Shape Tracer 2 with even harder ones, you know, if you got like some superstar. So this is all differentiated for them. And you can walk around and help the kids who are like, what? Okay? All right, so I'm going to close out Ozobots Shape Tracer. Yep?
Did you calibrate how do you calibrate?
Okay, we haven't made an Ozobot move yet. This is just my
I know on
virtual
screen,
one.
but if you wanted to.
We'll
load
get
it-
there.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem. So I'm gonna get back out of there, and I usually show the kids that they still have a tab open. It says Ozoblockly. All right. Now there should be a giant label right here that says click here, but there's not. So like, what do I do? What do I do? Okay, so you gotta scroll down and click on Get Started. Now, I often show them a tutorial. It's 2 minutes, and it gives them an idea of what they're doing, but then I just walk them through it. So, we'll click on Get Started, and we'll get to the editor, all right? And mine happens to say square, oh, I gotta take my computer to tech. I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'm not dealing with it. Okay, so it says square walk, ignore it. Here is Ozoblockly. A couple things you need to know is if you're using a bit, you want that bit to be blue. If you're using an Evo, you want that to be orange. Okay? Alright, first thing I teach the kids. Then it always immediately goes to level 2 because that's where people usually start. But let me show you level 1. Level 1 is for little tiny kids that can't read. I wouldn't attempt this with them, but if you want to, God bless you. Okay? But, alright, let's look at the light effects.
Where did you get the square walk? I'm sorry.
Oh, the square walk, it shouldn't even be there. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Just ignore it.
So
Just
should
ignore
say
it.
unnamed program.
Unnamed program is what it should say.
Okay.
I would have to restart my whole thing to do
That's
that.
fine.
Okay. See how it has like a Christmas tree? Okay, so the kids can pull out a block for a Christmas tree, right? Now, if we're in level 2, the light effects are the same, but they have the actual words in them. And they work the same, okay? All right, so that's the difference between level 1 and 2. Level 3 has more options. Level 4 scares me, and I don't ever go near level 5, because look at it. I don't know what is that? I don't know what that is. That scares me, okay? I teach basic block. All right, so I usually have my kids live in level 2 and 3. All right, let me show you some cool stuff in these levels, and then we'll try to download some stuff. Okay? All right, let me delete this stuff. Yep. All right, so if you're in level 2, and here is how I teach kids how to block code with Ozobots. They already know how to block code. All of your kids have probably done Scratch or code.org or something where they have seen an editor and they know how to manipulate this. So I don't really have to teach that part. What I have to teach them is how to get that code onto their Ozobot. So this is what I do. And I want to teach them some coding in the process. So I go over here, and let me just say one more thing before I get to that. All of this stuff is worth checking out, okay? We're not going to look at all of it today. But if you look at the open book, that's the glossary. And any block that you pull out, it will, and you click on that book, it will automatically tell you what that block does. Because some blocks you're like, I don't know what that means, okay? So you got that resource. How do I get rid of that? I can exit out here. Okay. Now, right in the middle, it looks like a deck of cards. This is where I take kids. And again, I'm talking 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, okay? That's who I've had the opportunity to work with this, okay? And now you see where the square walk comes in, because this I always do. This is an already created code. And to get this code onto your editor, you just simply click Open Example. So I'm going to do that. Oh, in my presentation, there's a video of a guy who's obnoxious doing this exact thing. So if you forget how to do this, you can watch Chris drinking his Mountain Dew and doing this. Okay, if you forget. So open example, voila, look what pops out. Okay, so now I get to teach kids about loops, and I say we're going to make our Ozobot walk in a square. All right, so you think it's going to happen 4 times. So kids think it's going to have 4 squares. I'm like, well, wait a second. I pretend I'm the Ozobot. And I say, okay, remember, I am an Ozobot bit, So my bumper's up here, and my plug's in the back, right? So I'm going to stand here, and I'm going to do what the Ozobot does. Its light color lights up green. And then I move forward 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I light up red. And I rotate. That's 1. Right, come with me. Green. 1, 2, 3, 4. Red. Rotate. That's 2. Green. 1, 2, 3, 4. Red. Am I doing the greens and reds right? Yeah. Rotate. That's 3. All right, 1 more. Green. 1, 2, 3, 4. Red. Rotate. How many squares did I make? 1. Okay, so that's all you're gonna get is 1 square. They're like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so now sometimes like this gets too cluttered, so let me show you. I had to have kids show me this. I'm like, how do I get that off my screen? All right, here's an X up here. X that off. Okay, so now to get this to this on an Ozobot bit, you have to download it off of the screen. With an Evo, it's Bluetooth connected, and it just zooms right to it. Okay? Need a drink. Ooh.
Say that again.
I thought you could load it on the screen. What do you call that screen thing? Is that it's called the screen or?
This is the editor.
The editor.
That's the fancy code programmer name. So now, how do I get that onto this? Well, you may or may not have noticed there's a lightning bolt down here. That's what we're going to click on, the lightning bolt.
That's only if you have the Evo or that's for both?
That's a bit. An Evo looks like this. You can also use the app. Okay, but we have a bit. Woo! Looks it popped up. Okay, cool. Now, yours might have a circle here, which is totally cool. You could use that for calibrating your Ozobot to the screen. Make sure it's on the highest brightness level or nothing's going to work.
So it'd be on an iPad?
What?
On an iPad then?
Yes.
On the screen?
iPad,
Okay.
Chromebook,
Okay.
anything, okay? So usually there's a circle right here, and you can use that for calibration, but this nifty thing, which is always lit up white, works too. And if you touch on that one, it's gonna light up too. You could use any of those to calibrate. And guess what? You calibrate the exact same way, but for the screen. So this isn't gonna work because it won't like this. It will do it over there, but I'm just gonna show you. Like you put it right here, you hold the button, blue, blue, white, let go. Okay, I didn't let go the whole way, but I stopped the pressure. And see, it went red, which means that's not ready. Okay? But over here it'll work. I mean, that's
So you're
it.
actually setting it on the Chrome?
Yeah,
On
on
the screen. Right on
it's
now you're
magic.
right on the screen.
When I
It's on your
first
paper.
when I first saw this, I couldn't believe it. Okay.
Do you know something too, the way that you have your screen, like when we do it on our math books, sometimes the kids will drop the math book so the screen is on the
It's
table.
flat, yeah.
Yeah, just hold it like this.
Holding it on, yeah.
Push it back too far.
They don't push it back too far, so if they tip your whole computer back.
Yeah, we'll have to tip them because we can't put ours flat. But
Right.
Just lay this
But
That's
you
what I
have
did.
to tip the board.
Okay, so now mine is calibrated for the screen. Okay? Not for color code. So you gotta switch them back and forth.
And you did say set it to the brightest setting.
Brightest. Yep. Okay, now, do you see this right here? It says load bit. If you have an Evo, it would say load Evo. And you can try this many at a time. I've never had that work. One time, I mean, I had a whole group of kids and I had to download it from mine because, whatever. Anyway, I might get 2 out of 5 to actually do it because, I mean, come on. Look how little of this thing is. Think how small the computer is inside of it. You gotta give it some slack, right? So now, to download it, you turn it on, you hold it on here, you click that, which is kind of difficult when you're using a mouse, but you do it. This should be blinking green the whole time. Anytime it stops blinking green, it's not downloading. You have to do it again. This takes a lot of troubleshooting and debugging. You just gotta keep trying. But that's how you get it on there. So
green is that it's not.
green is it is working. All right, so I'm gonna turn it on.
Green is good. Got it.
I'm gonna place it right there. I'm holding it because it's not flat here, okay? And I'm trying to touch it, but it's not a touch screen. So let me try this. Click. Doesn't seem to be doing anything, so I'm gonna click it again. Watch the little bar going.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
blinking. Mine is blinking green the whole time, the whole time, the whole time, the whole time. Yes! It blinked green the whole time. Sometimes it'll stop right in the middle. Okay. Then you need white. It needs to be white to put it on. All right. Now here's another trick. Now you gotta double click it. Click, click. Green, red, green, red. Yay! Okay.
It's on a white surface.
What?
It's the bot.
It was the bot that was moving, not that. You couldn't see it up there. It was on here. Yeah. So it was this that was moving. You wouldn't have been able to see it up there.
Do it 4 times?
What made
Square.
No, it made it square. Remember, I walked 1, 2, 3,
4 and thought
4.
repeat 4. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, you want me to run it again? Which bot was it? This one?
We'll find out.
There it is. Now, the challenge I make them do next, I found, wait for this. Okay, I'm going back in to my square walk thing. I thought it was in there. Never mind, it's not in there. I have copies of it, and you could just Google it. Okay. It is the rectangle walk challenge. I give them this paper, the rectangle walk challenge, and they have to now change this square to a rectangle and add some more stuff. And then they let me come see it, and I videotape it and put it onto it. Okay?
Did you say to run the program is 2 clicks?
2 clicks. Yep. Okay. So now that we've done that, let me show you where to get all these resources so when you go home you can be like, oh, I can find this stuff there. All right. That's the video of Chris showing you exactly what I just showed you on Ozobots. This is the step-by-step how to get the square walk. Okay? And then this is how to get the rectangle walk. Here we go. Okay. This is all on my bit. Ooh. I'll show you this in a minute. I'm going to hold it in my hand so I don't forget. Okay? We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. This is like heaven for Ozobots. This is where you go to get all the lessons. Now, how are you going to find that link later? Google Ozobot lessons, and you will get to this. Okay? It is in my slide deck, but you know what I mean. Yeah. You're in the middle of something, you're like, ah! So, we're going to go here. Let me show you around here. This place is awesome. First of all, these are basic trainings for color coding, basic trainings for block coding, something I have no idea what it is. I've never touched this. Vicki, have you been in there?
I've looked at it.
Oh, I never did. Okay. Vicki taught me everything I know. Thank you, Vicki. Everybody turn around and wave to Vicki. Okay. All right. So in here is step-by-step how to teach K2, how to teach 3.5, how to teach 6.8 and beyond color coding. I mean, everything. The lessons, the little papers that you can fill stuff in. Don't make anything yourself. It's all there. Okay? For Ozobots, step-by-step how to do it also. But after you've taught them that and you want to go a step forward and teach them some lessons using it, because isn't that the whole point? What you do is you go down to the search bar, and instead of typing something in right there, you can modify your search by going to search, and it allows you to pick a grade level. I actually would not recommend that because I found stuff for 2nd graders that works better for 6th graders. I wouldn't deal with the grade level. But you can pick a subject area. You can say which one of them you have, eval or bit, or if you have both, click on both. Lessons or activities or who wrote it, who cares. But here you can mark if you want to do color coding or just Ozobots, whichever one you want, and then maybe how long. I don't think you need that, okay? But like, I'm a mathy, so with my 8th graders, I'd want to teach them transformations, right? So I have a bit. It's obviously math. I mean, what else would it be? And I don't care if it's color or block coding. So I'm gonna hit enter, see what happens. And there's some lessons. I've actually done this dance lesson one using the Ozo Groove app, but you're gonna find stuff for whatever the topic is that you want to do. Now, I mean, I do a whole thing on different math lessons for it, but you can find whatever you want that way. That's the best way to kind of funnel down to what it is you're looking for. Okay? What else did I want to show you with this? Nope, just the portal. Okay. Then, okay. I did this lesson for a group of a group of teachers in the past, and the person I was working with actually pulled out all the color code basic training links for you, and then some great lessons that either I have tried or my buddy has tried that work great. But these aren't the only ones. There's just a whole bunch of different ones. There's also a link to the bot camp, which will take you through step by step how to use the Ozobot for yourself, like your own little step-by-step teacher training, okay? And there's 3 of them. There's one for just what is your bot, then there's one for color coding, and there's one for Ozo blocking. And I found this recently. If you don't like how I have presented, somebody else has a hyperdoc made for Ozobots, so you might want to check that one out. Okay, now let me back up to the sorry, I have to think about what my password is. To the apps. Okay, so on an iPad, there are a couple apps that are great for bits. There is the Ozobot Bit app and the Ozo Groove app. There's also an Ozobot Evo app, but I want to show you the Bit one because this is so cool. You go to this. Oh, somebody asked me. They said, I've had some Ozobots and they aren't behaving. I just learned this week a way to get them to behave and reset them to factory is go to the Ozobot Bit app, and it will pop up with an Ozobot tune-up, and hit reset. You put your Ozobot right there on reset. Hit start. It does something. If it lights up red for some reason, it's back to original factory reset.
This app
Yep.
does that? Okay.
Yep. But also Ozo Groove does that. Okay. I'm not sure if Evo does that. Let's look. It's gonna start singing and dancing.
You said it was a bit reset? Or what did it say? Ozobot reset?
Yep. No, this is just going into, I don't know, Vicky, do you know if there's a reset button on the Evo app? Because I just found this week when I was complaining to them because it didn't work. So it's Ozobot Bit and then Ozobot Tune-Up. Tune-Up. And
that's one word, Ozobot, or is it written like normal, Ozobot tune-up?
2 words, Ozobot Tune-Up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's in the Ozobot
Bit app. Mm-hmm.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, but here's the cool thing about the Bit app. If you go to Ozo Draw, start. If you go to free draw, all of these things are cool. But free draw, all of a sudden you have the 4 marker colors. You have all of the codes, and you can have your kids just draw on here, drag a code up, and it's blinky, but you can click it again. I know, it's, all right, so that's another thing that you can do instead of using markers. Okay, that's an Ozobot Bit app in Draw.
So they can have a color coding right on there instead of paper.
Yes.
It can do curved lines.
Yep.
But if the closer you get to 45, you need to get to 90, right? It's either be under 45 or closer to the 90.
I don't know what you're
Like,
asking me.
I'm just saying, like, so will it pretty much follow any curve? Some
Any line.
curves it doesn't
Mhm.
follow, so,
Yep.
right?
Well, if it's really tight, really
tight.
tight. Yep. Yep. Yeah, the basic training has step by step about that. Okay? Yeah.
With the app, does it move it on the screen or is it something where you calibrate it?
Nope, it moves it on the screen. Isn't that cool? I think for littles that's probably the best thing. The Ozo Groove app is really cool. I don't really have a lot of time to show that, but it actually, instead of block coding like in the editor, it block codes across music. So any of your kids that are into music can drag things into a song that's already there and then have the Ozobot dance to it. That's pretty cool. All right, questions? Yeah.
You showed us how the bit and you laid it on the screen and does it do that with the Evo too?
Oh, the Evo goes directly to it. You have to connect the Evo to the Evo app, and then it will just grab it Bluetooth. Yeah.
Do the students have to have something Bluetooth to do that, or does the instructor do that?
The iPad that
Or
they're
the Chromebook?
using.
We have Chromebooks. Is that
Okay, the
right?
Chromebook. Yep. If they have a Chromebook and a bot, they'll connect.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Ozobot just created it's called the Communicator. I just got an email that said mine isn't coming until the middle of March because of the coronavirus, and apparently they're made in China. But it will connect 8 at one time. Like you just plug it in, HDMI? Yeah, to your computer, and it will Bluetooth 8 in at one time instead of having to do one at a time on an app. Yeah.
So how, I'm probably being stupid.
No.
Talk to me a little bit about the Evo and the Bluetooth that she was kind of addressing. Is there, how, do you have to hold it to something?
Okay.
If you have a computer that has Bluetooth, then you can Bluetooth it right over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Versus putting it on the screen.
Right.
Yes, that's exactly, yes. Okay, so I have an Ozobot Evo app.
Okay.
That's what you need, the app. And then,
So we need the app on the Chromebook. We would have to push out the app to the Chromebook.
yeah. Now Ozo Blockly's on here, or if you want to
Yeah,
color,
that might be an issue.
Vic, I need your help. Vicky, come up. All right. So this actually connects to one of your. I'll get one of mine here and I'll turn it on. Okay. I'll turn that on. And I'm now trying to connect. I powered it up. It's searching for this one. And it will blip. Yep, now these two are connected. Okay, so these two are connected, and as long as this remains connected, whatever I do, see it shows this one's connected and fully juiced up. Anything I do on Ozo Blockly in here will go directly to it. So, Ozo Blockly. Oh, I just happen to have something in here. Wait, it's on Evo? Yep. All right. Vic? All right, so this is connected. This is connected to this. And this is Ozo Blockly. Now, how does this get to here? I never use Evos.
Is it the lightning again? Is there a lightning button in the bottom again?
Like it's Bluetooth. Is it Bluetooth into here already? Or how do I get this to here? It's
You have to
connected.
send it, right. You have
Right,
to
so
send
how
it.
do I send it?
I haven't done this, because I use my Evos all the time.
Your bits, you mean?
Or
So
my
do
bits.
I.
Yeah, I haven't used my.
We always use our
Here,
bits.
wait.
So,
I only
gotta be a
learned
button
on
here
or
somewhere.
on a bit. but
Or is it
deliberately
just on
bought
here?
zeros, so I'm like,
No, you gotta send it over, right? Or maybe it is.
Maybe it is. Let's
Double
see.
check it. Try it.
for the money you
Maybe
spent
it's
on
a-
it, you
Yeah, there must have to be a run or a.
Okay. Zigzag
is the first one. It's
and
not
disco.
moving.
There's a run program.
This little symbol right here,
That one.
and it should be.
There it is. Okay.
Connect. Oh,
Not connected.
but it
That's
said
why.
it was connected. Oh, I turned it off.
Yes.
Connect. Okay.
That would have been what I would do.
Connect.
the App Store says it's only
Please
available for
X.
iPad and,
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for the Evo.
so wait, can't use them, can't use them.
Oh no.
It's saying you have to-
guys bought them. Well, you have to only do color coding then. You only do color coding.
Please exit the Ozobot
Until
editor.
Ozobot comes
So you
along.
gotta-
So
you
we
gotta
gotta
get
get
gotta
out of
exit
here.
out of
Get
that.
connected from the home screen.
Send them a message about getting the
All right.
Chromebook thing happening.
Searching.
Go ahead.
I know I control my keys with like the Chromebooks.
We got a grant, so
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's how they do it. Yeah.
There it is.
I've done the color coding.
Connect.
I should step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Searching.
Dig into the other lessons and
It's connected.
There
you go. Okay, there
Okay.
you go.
So now we
Now
go
go
to
back to your
Ozoblockly editor. I'm in here. Now what do I
Right,
do?
now
Okay,
go
that
back.
top
This
right,
top one?
yes. And then
Okay. All right. We figured it out.
It's been forever since
So-
I did that. Yep.
It's connected. I'm in Ozoblockly editor. You have to hit this very top one, and then down here, run program. And now it's doing what I'm telling it to do. Zigzag, wait, and then do a disco. Yep, I'll do it again. So I'm gonna stop program. Okay, so I connected it. In the very first page it says connect. So you gotta wait till it connects. And then you open up this very top one, programs. And it says run program. And now it's run. That's Bluetooth, rather than downloading it. Well, hey, I learned something today, and it's just going to continue to do this until I tell it to stop. It is zigzagging, then it's going to wait, and then it's going to do disco lights, and then it's going to say a number. It said 4. You couldn't hear it. All right, so that's how the Evo is connected to it. All right, so time is about up. Feel free, if you tweet out, I can get you an Ozobot t-shirt. Oh, well, I'll pick somebody for that. These are my cards. You can come grab one, and you can email me with any questions you have as you're going through your Ozobot journey. I'd be more than happy to help you out. And thank you so much for coming. Thanks. Yep. Oh, and please bring your Ozobots back so I don't get in trouble. Oh yeah, all my stuff back, but the Ozobots are the most important. They're the ones. Yeah. Yes. Here's my cards.
And I have done. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Scratch Junior block coding with
Yes.
my first graders.
Yeah.
And after doing that,
Oh, then
took
you
them
can totally do this.
Well, and they would be able to do the block coding.
Yes.
So keep that in mind with your first graders,
Do
because I
code?
then took them into Scratch. Yeah.
Did you send me? Did you send me what you did?
It's very minor, but yes, I will let you know.
Thank you.
But if you start them in Scratch, where it's picture, the majority of them
Can get it.
pick it up in Scratch, and in looking at that block coding for the bit,
Yeah.
they can do it.
They can do it?
So take
Thank
it down to your
you.
first graders.
Thank you. Can I have 2 more Ozobots out.
That's always my biggest fear with kids.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Always my thing with kids is I need to count the Ozobots.
Count the bots.
Anybody.
All right, let me get this off of here first for you, and then I'll clean up my stuff.
I really don't even have that much stuff because I flew over. Otherwise, this is usually something I would test. Thanks so much.
Yep. I'm going wireless.
Yeah.